care officer. Like your emoji is that smiley with the heart. That's your
Hug.
emoji. And returning after a small absence, Miko Ilas of Binance Philippines. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hello.
Also in the chat, Myrtle Ann of Black Tides, Arshilin of Binance Filipino, and Tracy, thanks for coming. We'll talk about your Bitcoin News website pretty soon, hopefully. Okay, so we've got a lot on the docket today, which is kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting there was going to be this much news, but I wanted to just open the show with just this one here. This is a really interesting bit of news from last week. So I'll just read the headline. Bitcoin price dumps over fears Satoshi Nakamoto moved coins. So for the people who don't know, Satoshi Nakamoto, of course, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only one of the cryptocurrencies where we don't actually know who the person was who created it. And Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared several years back, so we don't know where he is. He also happens to own the first million Bitcoins that were ever made. So it is kind of a big deal if he moves even just a few of them. So in this particular case, last week, one of the very early Bitcoin addresses did move. Now, this piece of news was actually shared by attorney Ryan Uy. I'm not sure if he's in the chat right now, but I'll make sure to call him out if he does. This is an interesting story, mostly because just as soon as it happened, the price dropped
In the chat,
by about $200. And I mean, granted, Bitcoin $200, not really a big deal, but it was worth the headline at least. So naturally, because I'm a Bitcoin nerd, I actually checked, what exactly happened, and I looked at this particular address. So if you remember, like last week, we were talking about the very first Bitcoin address that ever received the first Bitcoin. That started with 1A1Z. That was the start of the address. So that's not it. This is not that address. And you can see it's actually super funny because you can actually look up the transaction history of every Bitcoin address online. So this one, I looked it up on blockchain.com. And the very first transaction is the one that's up here, 50 Bitcoin. It received 50 Bitcoin on February 10th, 2009. So over 11 years ago. And then the next transaction was literally just last week. So it had no activity, and then suddenly, boom, moved 50 Bitcoin out, right? So, and there are enough kind of internet sleuths that are watching every single one of the old Bitcoin addresses to kind of watch out for, if Satoshi will ever come back. The particular address here, they never really proved that it was Satoshi who owned it. So that's why this is not really there's no reason to panic necessarily. Naturally, lots of people on Twitter were speculating about it anyway. CZ from Binance joked that, oh damn, I shouldn't have rejected that Satoshi Nakamoto KYC on Binance today. So KYC, for people who don't know what that means know your customer. So that's it's like the customer profile form if you want to register to an exchange like Binance or a platform like Paxful or something like that. So CZ was just joking that Satoshi actually tried to sign up. Although, I hope he was joking. Anyway. And then a couple of hours after that, Adam Back, one of the main original cryptographers whose work allowed Bitcoin to exist, he was saying, it's like a muscle. Once people see it a few times and realize it means nothing, they ignore it next time. So what he means is that we shouldn't really take too much, we shouldn't really worry too much about this particular news. He thinks that it's just an early miner who happened to move 50 Bitcoin. So what? Not a big deal, right? But the price did moved about $200, moved downwards about $200 from where it was at the start of the week, which is actually a pretty good segue to Coach Eman's segment. Last week, when we ended the show, we were at $9,700 roughly. The price as of this morning this is actually a little late, but like it was about 8,900. So we're not doing so well. We lost about $800 there. Coach, what do you think? What's going on? Is this bad? Should we be worried?
Yun. Wait lang. Pwede ko na share yung screen ko?
Wait, here. I'll let you share.
Ay, ayan, sige. Thanks.
Go ahead.
And, saan na ba? Ayun. Okay. So, last time, nasa around 9,000 tayo, no? And then, nagkaroon tayo ng retracement. So, sa page ko, nag-post ako na there's a possibility na bumalik tayo with the moving average. Ito kasi yung yung meme natin eh. So, parang imagine the moving averages acts like a magnet. So, every time na magkakaroon siya ng swing high, tendencies bumabalik siya sa support. So, in this case, hindi na surprise na magkaroon siya ng low dito sa area na to. Pero, nagkaroon siya ulit ng another continuation dito sa area na to, which is around 8,600, which is medyo nakakabahala kasi when it comes to this kind of pattern, ang iniisip ng mga trader, they are just waiting for a retracement. Just like me, naghihintay na lang ng retracement and definitely papasok din ako ng short dito. Pero that kind of anticipation kasi is for traders. Pero doon sa mga nag-iisip when it comes to long term, so pag sinabi natin long term, ito yung mga sabihin natin na they are looking at 100 moving averages so of resistance or support kasi malaking bagay yun pag nagkaroon ng change of opinion doon sa mga larger numbers na yun. So that's why very significant yung sinasabi ng iba na 50 and 200 golden crossover. So yung meaning nun kasi yung behavior ng tao, kumbaga yung sentiment nila parang nagbago na parang from the 200 resistance, imagine yung 200 na tao na yun or mas average days na yun, binago na nila na okay, sige mag-bullish na tayo ngayon. Pero this time kasi, possible na hindi mag-work yung golden cross is simply because we are now moving on a ranging direction. So, ang moving average kasi, it only works sa trending market. Pero if you start using ang ranging market, doon na magkakaroon ng hindi na magiging ganun ka-accurate yung mga analysis. So from here, buburin ko muna yung mga averages ko. So dito nag-hold naman yung 20. Pero hindi pa naman valid yung hinahanap nating bullish kasi dito possible pang hindi na ma-hit ito eh. Okay, so we'll see if magkakaroon tayo ng another low. And if magkaroon siya ng drop dito for tonight, tingnan natin kung hanggang saan siya abot. Kasi pag medyo malapit na dito, just like what happened here, okay, kung lalagyan natin ng fib. Okay, so mga hindi nakakaalam ng fib acts as a support and resistance. So with 786, ito yung mga significant number na titignan ko. Lagpas na siya dun sa mga numbers na yun eh. So ang tendency is possible ulit i-retest ng price yung 9,000 area na to kasi na-reach siya na isang beses yan. So possible na ma-reach na ulit yan. And that is also true dito sa lows natin. Kaya very interesting yung mangyayari for this week. And especially, okay, we also want to take note na mag-end na yung month na to. Okay, so magkakaroon ng significant move dyan na possible na magkaroon tayo ng huge retracement for this month or let's say this month mag-create lang siya ng pattern. So either ways, again, this is not a financial advice kung tumaas man siya or bumaba. We should at least yun buti na ipasok ko no. So
Sabihin nakalimutan na naman eh.
Okay. Kasi baka may naka-ready ng pumindot ng buy or short sell eh. Okay, while watching this video. Okay, kaya nga sabi ni Mark.
Question. Question. Why do you expect that there is going to be a more significant move towards the end of a month?
Okay, so imagine, ito na naman yung explanation ko eh. No? Okay, imagine it's like alignment of the stars. Okay. Parang, alam mo yung planet na pag nag-align sila. Okay, so para siyang yung small time frame, it acts as like a small gear. And then yung hour time frame, yung medium gear, and then yung daily, and then yung weekly. Tapos yung pinakamalaking gear doon, yung pinakamalaking cycle is yung monthly cycle. And pag nag-align yun sila, and then parang nag-tick sila, nagkakaroon ng parang it's like time's up. Parang time is up, okay? Parang hanggang dito na lang tong candlestick na to. Let's parang may magkakaroon na refresh. Magkakaroon siya ng refresh. Okay, so pag nagkaroon ng refresh na yun, magiging wide ulit yung movement ng market. Okay. In common scenarios. Pero may mga rare cases na, for example, dito sa month ng December to February to March, ayan. Okay, so titignan natin before sila right after ng close, after a few days nagkaroon ng move. Nagkakaroon siya ng move. And that is also true dito sa December. Ito, mid-December, nagkaroon siya ng move. So dito sa February, after first week ng February, nagkaroon na naman siya ng move. And dito din, ayun. So very significant yung mga moves sa monthly. Kaya ako na-upand ko rin yun. And sa mga hindi pa nakakalam kung paano gumamit ng monthly time frame, I strongly recommend try nyo yun, gamitin yun. Pero syempre, huwag nyo kakalimutan yung risk management part. Okay? Kasi this is a 50-50. So trade at your own risk. And again, this is not a financial advice. Okay?
Coach, question.
Yes.
Regarding sa Golden Cross. Paki-explain naman, usually that's when the 50-day moves below. Well, I think we're at the 50-day moving below the 200-day right now. That's what our cross is. What does that normally signal when the 50-day goes below? Tapos what does it normally signal when the 50-day goes above?
Kapag nagkakaroon ng, wait lang, add muna natin. So, by the way, sa mga magtatanong ko ano yung gamit kong indicator. So, labels. Okay, so indicator ko ay exponential moving average. So let's add 200 and then another moving average 50. So bakit siya 20 and 50? So originally, yung 200 na yan nakuha yan sa stock market. Okay, galing sa stock market because we have 365 days. Tanggalin mo dun yung holiday and weekdays, you only get 200 trading days. So yung 50 days, okay, that's what we call intermediate term or intermediate term hold kasi nakalimutan ang explanation pero ang explanation nila doon is ang naalala ko as what I have remembered. May mga backtesting sila and that backtested system or result will give them a expected significant sabihin natin expected number or result or profit with this golden cross. So going back, so yung crossover na to, if it's below the price, I want you guys to imagine na parang this is like a runway, okay? And then ito yung airplane mo. So if there's a runway sa ilalim ng airplane, so isipin nyo guys na parang merong pressure dito na tinutuloy place. Okay, so and if it's below, if it is below the moving average, yung price and tendency, bababa siya because the pressure is nasa taas ng 200 days. Again, ito yung yung opinion ng tao. Parang, for example, this one. Pag in-average ko tong days na to. Ayan. 200. Okay, so from here, sabihin natin si Tony. Luis, kailan mo ba binigyan ng BTC si Tony?
Oh my God.
Wag na.
Don't remember. When was
I think April 2018.
Ayun, naalala pa, April 2018. Okay, so Tony, di tanongin naman natin si Tony ngayon. Tony,
Pero hindi bigay
anong price ka?
Binili ko.
Ayun, yan. Okay. Perfect.
Good you remembered that.
Wait lang, Bitcoin for free.
Well, except for
Okay, so
today.
okay, so
I don't
Tony, anong
remember.
price ka
I
bumili?
think it
At what
was
price?
8,000? I don't
Ayun,
remember.
8,000. So, guys, especially sa mga nanonood ngayon, di ba sinabi niya 8,000? Wala siyang sinabing 8,200, 13.11. Okay, so bakit ganun? Bakit ganun yung sinabi ni Tony? Kasi may tinatawag kami sa trading na psychological resistance and support. So yung naisip ni Tony, pag marami nag-iisip ng psychological resistance na yun, there's a huge likelihood na baka hindi tumuloy yung price doon. Kaya if na-break yung number na yun, for example, si Tony, good news! Nasa 30 na tayo, are you happy?
30?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, diba? See? And definitely that's also true sa ibang tao. Kasi they bought around 8,000 and then yung number na yun, sabihin natin, past 200 days resistance na yun, okay? Itong mga tao na to, hindi, ano pa yan parang like Tony, medyo nakakalimot na yan. Pero yung mga tao nakalimot na yun and then they started to understand or heard the news, uy, bumalik na siya at 30,000 or 13,000, di ba? So, yung memory nila parang magigising na, uy, alive na ulit. And then magpo-post na ulit sila sa social media. And that's the moment you know the price of Bitcoin is going up. So maraming indicators. So number one indicator dyan is Facebook. Ayun. Pag nakita mo na nagpo-post na sila and they're lively, yun yung number one indicator.
Okay, so coach, what does it tell you when there is a weekly webcast in the Philippine Facebook scene talking about crypto? Is that an indicator that that the crypto markets are coming back?
Weekly, no?
Yeah.
Kasi lagi ako lagi kasi ako nasa crypto Pero siguro mas maganda niyan tanungin si April. Kasi pag-expose sa market, gaya ko, parang there's a feel or parang nabubuo na yung instinct na hindi pa siya dito aakyat or gagawa mo na siya ng pattern. So, mas okay tanungin yung mga hindi pa exposed. Kasi sila yung nag-create ng emotion sa market. Nakikita nyo yung ganitong price action during 2017 or 2018.
Emotion lang yan.
Wala,
I don't know if you wanted to comment on that, April. Are you feeling emotional about cryptocurrency these days? What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm definitely emotional kasi may laman yung wallet ko before I was supposed to be trading that this week, and then nag-dump nga yung price nung past few days, but I'm not sure about so when we're talking about emotion, maybe mostly with the newbies or not the technical guys.
But do you feel, we're all human, no? And I think that we, when we happen to have just bought Bitcoin, there's a saying na, as soon as you buy Bitcoin, the price will usually drop immediately after, diba? And just to kind of remind you what it is that you've bought. Were you depressed? Do you still feel that even now? I'm sure it's happened to you a few times where it's gone down after you bought.
Not overly anymore because if it fell, the value fell, you can just hold your Bitcoin if you don't want to trade it for now, and then wait for it to gun up again, because that's always the case. Bababa pero tataas lang din siya ulit. So fingers crossed every time, and always hoping for the best.
Okay. I guess you could probably say that about technical analysis also, to a certain extent. Okay, sige. So I think, sorry, Coach, were you done? Did you want to?
Yes, okay na. Pero if you guys have any questions.
Sige, let's, actually, I want to bring you in for some of the other questions later. So, let me take back the... Stuff. Do I take back the screen? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so now I have to share again. Okay. I see that Mark Vernon is here. Welcome, Mark. How are you doing?
All right, thanks.
Cool. So, okay, so what we wanted to do this week, we wanted to talk about some of the user questions we've been getting. No? So, like I was saying, this last 2 months of lockdown has been really interesting for us because we've had so many new customers come to us buying, not huge amounts of Bitcoin, but genuinely interested to kind of, maybe now they finally have time to sit down and actually read and learn about this stuff. So now they're going to give it a shot. So we have a whole bunch of questions prepared here, and we're going to try to answer them. Hopefully, as a way for the people who are watching, maybe you'll also learn something from this. So this first question is, how do I keep my Bitcoin safe? And it was actually from this chat conversation I had with one of our customers. Her name is Monique. So she was saying, I just got some info about hacking being more prevalent these days, and just wanted to know if Trust Wallet is safe from these. So Trust Wallet was actually the wallet that we recommended to her because she wanted to buy not just Bitcoin, but some other cryptocurrencies. So we thought, let's just do Trust Wallet because at least then it's a slightly more straightforward path for her to, if she wants to trade it herself into Binance. Miko, I bet you have some stuff to say about about Trust Wallet.
Yeah. The thing about Trust Wallet is that it's decentralized. It's a decentralized wallet, so it means that only you will have full custody of your funds. So the only thing you have to be concerned about is keeping your 12 word code
Backup phrase.
to maintain the phrase to maintain your account. And then not per se an account, but your wallet, I think. And then with that, you can just link that Trust Wallet to Binance and Binance Next as well, so that you can trade it there. And then but of course, a big part of security is also taking care of what you share. So don't share your password, but also make it a practice to change it regularly, have strong passwords. I guess a lot of the things that are wrong with security in terms of even outside of blockchain, they get carried over within blockchain because there are some practices that are not necessarily being observed by a lot of people. So
right, yeah.
That's
I think
one
we're gonna
thing.
try to like break that down over the next couple of minutes because there's actually a lot in this question. So the first thing I will say is that yes, Monique, hacking is a lot more prevalent these days, and that's just the nature of the thing when more and more people are starting to transact online. Kind of the lockdown is both a good and a bad thing in that sense because it's trying to keep us healthier, but there's also such a thing as practicing good digital security hygiene, and that's kind of one of the things that we will need to be able to teach some of our customers. So this is actually an article that was shared by Justin earlier. So this is your story from the hacker who broke into Ledger and Trezor and KeepKey. Did you want to just do a quick kind of summary of what happened, Justin?
Okay, sure. So this was just recently, as in
2 days ago.
a couple of days ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's another one of those data breaches based on hackers not penetrating exactly the hardware wallets, but informations that could be tied to hardware wallets. So usernames, emails, things of that nature. And supposedly this was done through accessing third parties that used, I guess, these wallets as payment systems. So this was through Spotify apparently. So there was the actual attack was on Spotify's servers, to which apparently this hacker was able to get some information that could lead to some hardware wallets. This sort of attack also has been happening quite frequently, not just with hardware wallets. Last week, it happened to another kind of exchange called BlockFi, where it was the same sort of data breach attack. So not necessarily funds lost, but users' information lost. So
Yeah.
I guess to sum it all up, what there's a sigh of relief for people to know that okay, the funds are there, they weren't taken. But so these hackers usually they'll sell this data that they got on the dark web or whatnot, and the fear now with a lot of I guess cryptocurrency holders is that well, if these hackers can sell my information to individuals online, then these individuals online could probably locate me, and then if they know that if they have information that they know I have cryptocurrency, for example, they can just force me to transfer coins over. So sort of like held at gunpoint or whatever. Happened a couple times to some, I guess, some key figure, biggish figures, I guess, where they've kind of located somebody's household and put a gun to their head and told them to transfer coins. So I think the response in general from, well, first of all, from Spotify was that no information was leaked. I haven't heard anything from Trezor Ledger.
Sorry, did you say Shopify or
Sorry.
Spotify?
Was it Spotify or Shopify?
Shopify.
Shopify.
Yeah.
Shopify.
Yeah.
I think I said
Yeah,
Spotify.
I can tell. I can tell where you spend most of your days. By the way, if people are not aware of what Ledger, or Trezor, or KeepKey is, there are these hardware wallets that you can buy. They're an additional layer of security. So this is a Ledger Nano S that I haven't opened it yet. I'm still. Actually, you know what? I might actually raffle this off for like maybe our 25th episode or something. Anyway, so like I've still got it here, waiting for someone to actually use it. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to provide an additional layer of security. You have to kind of open it up, type in a PIN code in order for you to actually release your funds when you send Bitcoin to someone. If you don't have it, you actually won't be able to send any coins out. So we use versions of this at Bloom because we need the additional level of security. Mon, I know that you had thoughts about this story. Did you want to like jump in and just explain some of it, or?
Yeah, sure. It'll be short. So I think there's the problem with sharing or having to share your information. Like, granted, these companies need to contact you, but also know that the more information you put out there, the more likely it is that someone with malintent will get their hands on it and possibly use it against you, right? And so, like Louis said, we should have good digital hygiene and don't just sign up for any site and give all your information away. Like think about it and decide if it's worth a trade-off.
Right.
Yeah. One thing that I kind of gathered from a lot of this hackings recently is there's a consistent sort of security that if you just keep your 2FAs, so you usually get a choice between 2FAs with these sites, whether to have a text message two-factor that gets sent to you every time you try to log in, or you use a third-party authenticator like Google app authenticator, or what's the other one? Authy, I think, is another one.
Yeah.
And those are like much more secure than one-time passwords being sent to your phone, because the SIM swap attack, basically the hacker gets your they're able to port your phone number over to their device, and then when they try to log on, they get the password for how the two-factor. So a lot of people were saying that a lot of these things could be solved if these exchanges and the companies just turn off that SMS one type
Right.
password and just opt for the
Yeah. I mean, I guess the reason why you have the SMS version of that is because not everyone has smartphones. So
Yeah.
parang it's just the most flexible version. But yeah, ultimately you pay for that by parang it's such a fragile way to secure yourself.
Shit, I got crypto, but I haven't got a smartphone.
Yeah, I mean that's unlikely, right? I mean, I think that ano naman, siguro
Yeah.
naman like
Okay.
if you're into Bitcoin, you've got something, you've got a
Please,
smartphone.
yeah.
Yeah, but like so for example, the reason why banks still use that, so for example, security
Yeah.
banks still uses SMS based two-factor. It's because they're not sure that all of their account holders are
Right.
going to be
Yeah.
able to use Google Authenticator or Authy or something. But yeah, it's super easy. If I know your phone number, I can just pretend I'm Justin
Yeah.
David. I'll go to
Yeah.
Globe and then just get a new SIM card issued in that
Right.
same number.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty easy actually. You'd be surprised how quick it is to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, okay. I wanted to. I guess that kind of leads into this slide here. The first item is kind of the most important here. It's security is only as strong as its weakest link. And in the example that we just gave, the weakest link is the fact that you can very easily request a new SIM card from Globe or Smart with the same number that could belong to someone else. So the weakest link is the SIM card. And because the SIM card itself is a weak way, not a strong enough way to secure your stuff, then it kind of breaks down the entire chain. Now you can be attacked pretty easily.
Yeah, this is why we can't do logins just with a phone number for e-wallets, just for centralized e-wallets, because that can happen. So we have to have an email which is a bit more secure, but that not everyone in the Philippines has an email, for example. So.
Right. Yeah, and there's so now your issue is that the email becomes kind of the weakest part of the chain, right? So it's basically just kind of like
trying to get people doing two-factor for that. Then it starts to get more technical, and people will say, "I give up. I'll just use cash." So that's a problem.
Right. Right. The second thing so this is actually part of the answer that I gave to our customer Monique when she asked us about this. So I actually said, the reason why we recommended Trust Wallet is because it's very popular. Because of that, it tends to be more battle hardened. And what that means is that it's probably been attacked so many times at this point that it has had a chance to get stronger by making adjustments in its code, plugging some leaks. Or just but it's been reviewed by enough people that
tough for new entrants into the market, with new products, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, so in the case of Trust Wallet, I had to look this up because I wasn't sure if they actually were completely open source, and they are completely open source. So if you wanted to, if you had the know-how to do it, you could actually look at their code and make sure it's all kind of it all makes sense. Actually, Mark, if you're going to be building your own wallet, have you ever used something that was open source and built on top of that?
I looked at Trust Wallet. That was the first thing I looked at. I like the interface. I like its simplicity. But we needed to build something in Fuse Open, which is our main platform. So we're almost done with that. And we've had to do an awful lot because you have to do all the transaction processing inside on the phone. You can't send off your private keys to another server to get done. So all has to be done inside the app.
Yep.
And then the security side, we needed to put an encryption key to further encrypt. So if someone got hold of the private keys, then it wouldn't make any difference. So we're encrypting it using the UUID of the phone itself, so the user doesn't have to type in anything. It's even simpler. So you got to have the security as well as have ease of use, and that's always a battle with crypto.
Yeah, right.
But I looked at Trust Wallet and open source, and it was good.
Yeah, so that's actually the fourth point that I wanted to make here. You have to kind of consider the convenience factor also when you're thinking about your personal security. So I think that Mon will have a slide right after this that talks about a little about the different levels of security that you can do. But I guess what I wanted to say here is that if you make it too hard, there is this tendency that you will just get lazy and you will not follow your own security protocols. So, I mean, be willing to work a little bit harder, obviously. If you've got a lot of money to protect, you have to work on making that secure. But if it's not that much money, then you get lazy, then you start to forget certain things. Or maybe you turn off two-factor authentication or whatever, right? So you can consider those things when you're trying to decide how you want to do it. Mon put the slide together that actually talks about some recommendations depending on like how much a person happens to have in terms of crypto holdings. Did you want to take this one, Mon?
Right, sure. So this is just a quick guide I put together, and by no means should you follow it like literally. It really depends on your like level of risk. For some people, these amounts might be a lot bigger than for other people. But I recommend using like different levels of security depending on how much you're storing, right? So for example, here, if you have 10,000 pesos or below, sure, put it on your phone. If you lose your phone but still have your backup seed, chances are you're not going to have that, you're not going to lose the Bitcoin or the crypto you have on that phone. But then you'll start feeling less safe, or you're going to start feeling insecure when if you have 100,000 pesos or more on your phone, right? And what if someone is able to guess your PIN? Because that's how a lot of wallets secure themselves. So I suggest putting it in an offline device, like maybe an old laptop. And by offline, I mean it doesn't connect to the internet, which is in essence like a hardware wallet, which is next. A hardware wallet is like what Luis showed a while ago. The Ledger is one of them. That is essentially like a special device that can create Bitcoin transactions and other cryptocurrencies as well without your password, so to speak, or what they also call the private key, from leaking outside of the hardware wallet. Now, that is the stated goal, right? It is still like nothing is unhackable. So if you have even more money, you'll want to look at more secure solutions. And after the one hardware wallet, the more secure solutions are already multi-signature. And for those unfamiliar, multi-signature is similar to a bank's checking account where you have, let's say, 3 signatories, but you tell the bank, hey, to send any checks out require 2 signers, right? So when they get the check, they open your account details, they have the 3 signatory, 3 specimen signatures, and they make sure that 2 of those sign the check. Now, with Bitcoin, I'm not familiar with the others, you can do like up to 15, currently up to 15 signatories in an account. Now that's probably overkill. Like, two signatories out of 2 signatories, or two signatories out of 3 signatories for about 10 million pesos and below sounds just right. If it's more than that, it's probably going to be a hassle. Coordinating with all the people, or
I should also say that when Mon says signatory, he doesn't mean necessarily different people, because 2 of 2, 2 of 3, that could still all be you. It's just that you leave your devices, for example, you leave them in different places. So for example, you'll have one at home, one that you'll carry with you, and a third one maybe at your parents' house. No? So parang you can do a 2 of 3 where you can still do the transactions, but you have to go somewhere in order to do it. So this helps if you're trying to really be secure. It also helps, I guess, if you're trying to prevent yourself from spending too much, no? Because it's a bit of a hassle to send your money anywhere.
It is a hassle. But if you're looking at like $1 million or more, you'll probably want to look at 3 out of 5 or even more multi-sig. But here you start to think about, like, the higher you get, you start to think about what happens if you die. Like, do you want to pass it on to your children or to your family? How do they access it, right? And if you give them the instructions, like, you have to
you know the other side of that. They
Yeah.
know how much you've got because they can check with a public key, and then they kill you off.
Well, yeah. You know, well, hopefully, like you have people in life that you can trust, right? And there might be ways to still get around that, like, but every layer of security you add makes it way more complicated, and ease of use and security, they are opposite ends of the pole.
I noticed you haven't covered paper wallets yet. Do you want me to cover some of that?
Yeah, sure. You can cover paper wallets that might be like an similar to offline device.
Yes, yeah. But there are certain things that I've used over the years, and yeah, it's pretty good. If when you're ready, I'll cover it.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of.
Yeah, no, I think we want to do like I think I'd really like to do an episode on kind of generating your own paper wallet, because
Well,
I kind of
I can share very briefly here, and then you can cover it in more detail.
sure, if you'd like. Yeah. Why don't you show us your paper wallet, Mark?
Yeah, right.
Bring it as close to the camera.
I'll just share the screens I've got if you want, unless you've got more to show.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, let me.
So you can take this
that.
While Mark is setting up, welcome, Nichelle, Gaba of PDAX. Thanks for joining us.
All right. So here's this is online, walletgenerator.net. It's also downloadable, so you can actually run it from your own laptop that's not connected to the internet at all, if you're paranoid, which I am. So that's usually the way you do it. You can set it up. It's very simple to set up on your own machine. But if you want to do it on here, first of all, if you create a wallet, generate a new address, then it basically generates one, or you can use entropy, where you just move the mouse around to generate a random address. So that's the kind of detail you can cover later on why you do that. But that's for creating a new public and private key. And then you got ones where you've already got the private key, and then you can further encrypt it with a password. So what that generates is this piece of paper here with a public and private key. You can show the public key to anyone to pay you, and the private key, even if they have it, they won't know how to use it because they don't have the the password that you've got into it.
Yep.
So the password, if you forget that, or you get Alzheimer's, or someone holds a gun to your head, then yeah, sure. But you can print out multiple sets of these and keep them in different places. And you can even laminate them, you can put them in a vault or whatever. So, store in completely different places. If one place burns down, you got your money. So it's the simplest method of all. There are other things as well. And then what you can do is use this in conjunction with Mycelium, which is a digital wallet on Ethereum, on Android. And so this one here, you can basically say, get the private key from the QR code, put the password in, and now you're ready to spend a bit of money. And none of that stays on your phone. As soon as you finished, it's all cleared off. So you're basically spending from a paper wallet using an Android app to make it possible. And for me, this has been the simplest method of storing money securely, as long as you don't forget your password. You can always don't put a password in, but it's always advised to put an extra password in just in case someone gets hold of that private key. So
I think that our audience will have a very different definition of what the simplest thing might
what I would
different
consider
levels
simple.
of,
That's right.
Yeah, I would think. Yeah.
I recommend like a graduator or that list. Like if you go back to that slide, it doesn't have to be just one thing. You can keep 500 pesos or 1,000 pesos worth of Bitcoin on your phone if you think you want to spend it, or just you want to show people while you're out. But and then the rest stays in a more secure location.
Yeah, the more you've got, the more secure it has to be.
And you should and that is the motivating factor, right? Like how much you have and what pain you'll feel if you might lose it.
A lot.
Yeah.
Justin is looking up the prices of he needs to buy 2 more ledgers so that he can do 3 of 5.
Yeah. So this goes super deep. I think about keeping Bitcoin safe a lot, and we can go more than one episode, but I certainly think we should do at least one episode.
And also, the more money you've got, split it up into multiple wallets.
Oh, yeah.
But
Perhaps, yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't really be storing more than, say, 50 million pesos in one address. Not really.
Well, I mean, like that's the nice thing about multi-sig. At least for Bitcoin, I don't know. I can't speak for other cryptocurrencies. It's like you don't get twice the security by going 2 of 2. It's almost like an exponential way, especially if you use different hardware wallets. Thinking about supply chain attacks. I don't want to go too deep, but
I think everyone's different.
For another episode.
You're speaking from a business point of view where you need to store that and still be able to use it every day. Whereas there's someone who's holding it for a long period where they don't need to do that. And it just needs to sit there, safe, knowledge that no one can touch it, hardware hacking or anything.
Yeah.
So, different use cases.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this topic is actually deep enough that we could devote an entire episode to just like different styles of this stuff. And I do like the paper wallet stuff just because that was one of the offline tricks that really enamored me with Bitcoin when I first kind of learned that you could do stuff like that. But yeah, so let's leave it at that for now, and then maybe devote like a little bit more time to it in future episodes. This other question kind of came up again. I don't know. I mean, like I said, we've had a lot of different new people trading with us recently, and one of the questions that they will ask is, how can I tell if someone is actually selling me something real? And this was a complicated question, right?
Why?
Because there's a lot of different ways that you could.
If it appears in your wallet, it's real Bitcoin.
Well,
if it doesn't, it's not.
So the problem with that is that most trades are payment first. No, so for example, when Bloom sells Bitcoin to anyone, we expect them to pay us in cash first before we give them the Bitcoin.
Oh,
so the
because
problem
we can
is,
trust you, right?
yes, I mean I would think so. But you see the dilemma, right? Because in most e-commerce situations, the seller needs to receive the payment first before that they release the merchandise. So that's kind of your issue. So you've got wow. This is
I answered it first.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and talk about this if you want.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna talk about this in detail, also, because I think it could be something that its own episode. But ultimately, when trying to find out if the Bitcoin you have is real, ultimately, the ultimate authority is what's on the Bitcoin blockchain, right?
Okay.
And when you visit websites like blockchain.com or BlockCypher, you are trusting what they're telling you. Now, it's pretty likely that they're not targeting you and giving you false information. But I just want to say that if you need ultimate assurance, let's say you're controlling $10 million or more worth of Bitcoin, maybe even less, I'd say $1 million or more, you'll probably want to check the transactions for yourself on your own node. But the rest, I think for what Luis is going to talk about are things that probably where most of us are thinking. But just know that ultimately, your own node is the most secure way to find.
That's an episode in and of itself. Also, actually,
Yes.
That's a pretty big topic.
This Bitcoin thing goes deep.
Yeah, it does. Michelle Gaba, I wanted to ask your opinion generally on just this question first. You've had quite a few OTC trades with, kind of customers that maybe are a little bit more traditional from a traditional background. Have you ever encountered this question? How did you answer it?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. Like we've had 2 clients who required us to appoint an escrow agent. So basically, it's a lawyer that acts as an intermediary and confirms that funds have been transferred before releasing cryptocurrencies. Now that's a very that's actually that was almost 2 years ago now, and I'd say it's not as common anymore. That one was like a Hong Kong-based family office, and they just wanted to spend the money on it just to be sure. Now
I imagine that must have been expensive, right? I mean, that's not a free service.
it's not for free, but the client was happy enough to shoulder that, just because at that time, yeah, you can really get scammed out of a lot of money, right? At the time. Now, and I guess it's the same for you guys. The BSP license actually helps, right? That okay, yeah, we'll hold on to the money first before we deliver you your crypto, because at the end of the day, you can go chase us at the BSP. So that kind
Right.
of works these days.
Right. Yeah. Right. So actually, the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because it was motivated by some news recently about this particular fellow, and so he was arrested last week, and his big thing was that he was going around telling people that he had a 1,000 Bitcoin that he was selling, and it worked so well that I believe the number that's here, the number that was actually on the warrant of arrest was 90 million pesos worth of estafa, but I believe the number was actually much larger than that. It's just that 90 million happened to be kind of the charge that was initially brought against him. But what's interesting about this is that he got away with it for quite some time. He's not like it's not like just a very short kind of thing that he's been pulling off.
But what's he doing though? How was he getting money from people? Just because you can show a wallet, what does that mean?
Mark, I would not be able to tell you.
Oh right, okay. Because
I
the
don't
usual
know
scam,
exactly how this scam
the
works.
usual scam, for example, is you've won money and here's the wallet, and this is your wallet. All you need to do is send us the private key of a wallet you put money into, send it to us, and we'll send you this much bigger amount. And
Well, yeah. So that's like the Nigerian prince scam.
yeah, right. Forward.
Yeah. This one, I believe is a little bit closer to what I was describing earlier, where it's the person who's buying the Bitcoin needs to pay the money up front, and then maybe they realize after the fact that the Bitcoin that they received, or maybe it never materialized.
But this is really bad for just it gives Bitcoin a bad name, because if everyone looks at this and they go, oh, Bitcoin scam, it's like really annoying.
Right. Yeah. It's certainly not great, but I think that the reason why we wanted to bring it up was because this is kind of part of this is kind of part and parcel of why it's so important to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Education,
I mean, watch out for stuff. Double check. I think one of the reasons why this particular scam worked so well was because he was using other people to vouch for him. So it even calls into question the whole, if there's enough people to vouch for you, does that make you a legit trader or vendor? Sometimes maybe that's not even enough.
Are you real?
Yeah.
So So I guess so the government, the Central Bank of the Philippines, I guess, is kind of the ultimate vouch, right? Because if their word isn't good enough, then I'm not really sure who else you would go to. Mon, Justin, did you guys have any thoughts about this this little story?
Yeah, I know this guy, he would never send a Bitcoin, he would take your money first. And so even whether he had control of the Bitcoins they were showing you wasn't questioned. So yeah, again, you'll know the Bitcoins that you have are real when they're with you finally. So,
Which might be too late, right?
right. So you have to manage the risk. I think he was giving a pretty good rate, and you'll be like, well,
that's
sell it for for the current market rates, and I'm gonna be so rich. Well,
I'd imagine,
that's
even better than market rates, right?
But
that's what you'll look at.
is this someone that I don't know. Do you know the name of that guy, or you're not allowed to say? Or
No, it's on the. This was published all over the news. So
Yeah. So the name is there. I just didn't want to put it on the stream.
okay. Well, I mean, I was approached a few months ago to do 50 million peso purchase. So I was going to buy the Bitcoin with the cash, and they said it has to be cash, and there was something a little bit off about it, and the broker involved, and I basically I found out later that they were scam artists, but. I did, certain things weren't right, and I said, but I said, forget it. I'll put the money back in the bank, and I'm not doing any more cash deals. It's just not worth the hassle. And what attracted me obviously was a 5% discount. So again, he might be doing something like that.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say that, Mark. Like a lot of these guys will come up to you and say, "I'll sell it to you at 5% or 10% discount on Coinbase price and stuff like that." Like straight away, that's like your first flag. Anybody who's willing to sell that much Bitcoin at a discount.
So that raised flags for me. Plus, there's some of the people involved because I asked for the backgrounds and the KYC, all the usual stuff, and it just didn't trigger. And I thought, nah, I'm not going through with it. So
Michelle, did you have any experiences with stuff like this? Maybe not this guy specifically, but
No, but I think more similar to Mark, right? Like folks who want to liquidate, but then things don't add up, and you just decline, right?
Yeah, I guess the safest is always to decline, no? But then we are kind of in the trading business, so you do have to pursue the opportunity to a certain extent just to find out if it's
not
established, if it's
not
real.
anymore. I'll deal with you guys, but I won't deal with the guys I've never heard of that no one else can vouch for. There are certain people, especially in the Philippines, where
Fair enough.
everyone knows. So you can go to the OTC market on Telegram or various things and just ask for others to vouch, that others can vouch for, that ask questions. And I asked enough questions, and it was like, oh, right, okay, this guy's a scammer. So, yeah, we all learn, even then.
Yeah. So that's not the only little scam thing that we learned about this week. Well, this next one is this was a really interesting get-rich-quick scheme. And we kind of Justin stumbled onto this one also. He spent a lot of time reading this week.
My father sent me
looking
this link.
for sketchy news. So this one I thought has a really funny headline. Duterte has signed a historic agreement for Philippines that will change the economy completely. Firstly, great headline. Now, I've highlighted the passage down below that was really interesting. So the new Duterte agreement creates a platform for the citizens of Philippines to start generating income with cryptocurrency. This new platform is called Bitcoin Lifestyle. He is urging all citizens of Philippines to learn about Bitcoin Lifestyle quickly to get involved. So, firstly, wow, on lots of different levels.
Vouch.
Yeah, the ultimate vouch. I mean, the website, if you want to look it up yourself, is called Daily News. I mean, dude, clearly a reputable source, right? It's about a generic news website as possible. But I think what I wanted to point out about this was there's now a new level to a lot of the scams that I'm seeing, which is that they expect people to Google them, right? They expect people who are doing the research. They will actually do a little bit of Googling. What is this Bitcoin lifestyle, right? And now there is actually search results that will show up, and they will look like websites that maybe are real news, but not really. The writing is not so great. So you can kind of guess already based on that. But, it continues to be a thing that is just like every time the SEC issues an advisory about something, there's always something new that pops up. But I've noticed that a lot of them are becoming more sophisticated in their approach. They are starting to expect people to Google them and look for news, look for vouchers and things like that, right? So, naturally, because I wanted to do the research, I actually did look up Bitcoin lifestyle.
Yeah,
signed up.
Not right. So I took a screenshot of the offer, just so we can look at it all. So I'll read it out. Number one, what kind of results can I expect? Bitcoin lifestyle members typically profit a minimum of $1,100 daily. So
Where
I
do
mean,
I sign up? Where do I
that's right
sign up?
there. I know, right? I mean, so I was actually I pulled out my Ledger wallet, and then I realized I needed to get Justin and Ramon and Israel to also sign the transaction, so I couldn't do it. But that's a thing. Number two, how many hours per day do I
20
need to work?
minutes.
Fair question.
Wow.
Our members work an average of 20 minutes a day or less. Because the software handles the trading, the amount of work required is minimal. Again, pretty good offer so far. Number three, what is the maximum amount that I can make? Fair. Your profits are unlimited within the Bitcoin lifestyle. Some members earned their first million within just 61 days.
Wow.
So I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but this is kind of the firstly, wow, that's a pitch, right? So what this style of scam is, the story is that these guys have programmed an unbeatable crypto trading bot, and all you have to do is throw money at the bot, and the bot will make your money grow, right?
Stuff that you can't check either.
No, of course not. No, you can't check it. So Bitcoin Lifestyle, there's another one called Coin Revolution that has already been picked up by the local SEC, and they actually issued an advisory that it is a scam. So be careful. But I'm seeing quite a lot of these recently, where they're kind of preying on the fact that people don't have a great understanding of how trading works. Or possibly they also just don't have a great understanding of how cryptocurrencies work. And so what they're doing is they're taking advantage of that, and they're just promising that they've built this unbeatable technology that will just grow your money $1,100 a day. Pretty good returns on that. I believe the minimum buy-in, by the way, is only about $250. So the fact that to turn $250 into $1,100 daily is kind of crazy.
As for anyone looking at this, if it's something is too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yes, and I think that's kind of the kindest way to say it. No, the promises like this, they just don't track, right? There's no logical way they could really make sense. Last week, Coach Eman was making the joke that Bitcoin is an asset that will allow you to turn 100,000 pesos into 1,000 pesos. And sometimes, saying stuff like that is kinder than saying stuff like this, where you're promising people that they'll make some kind of ridiculous.
But do you think that this will get more and more sophisticated, more and more scammy, more and more, or eventually people will learn enough to go, it's not worth doing anymore? Is it going to be like the Nigerian?
They certainly seem like they're
scams?
just getting more. They seem
Going
like
and
they're
going
just
and
getting
going.
more sophisticated. I don't know. Justin, did you have
I
something?
think you'll always find even if they just get a few dozen of the millions and millions that see this page, right, to fall for it, it's going to be worth their time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the outright scams, and then you've got the other ones that didn't mean to be a scam. They're called ICOs, but that's another topic.
Okay. All right, that is definitely another topic for another time.
So, if I may interject, one thing I noticed is that
Yes, Miko.
when Bitcoin prices are higher, more scams come out of the woodwork. So, I don't remember seeing a lot of the scams when Bitcoin was going down to like 3,000, 4,000. So, I don't know. Maybe one way to stop the scams is to sink the price of Bitcoin. Of course not. But, we hope people are get wiser. But, yeah, we're nearing 10,000. Well, we just got kind of far away from it than yesterday. But, yeah, let's expect more of that. And then I guess the more people joining in, hopefully more people get.
That's the point of this show, is to educate and let people know and let them tell their friends and so on. The more people, because so many people have talked to me online and said, "Is this a scam?" I say, "Yeah." Or, "I've been caught. Can I get my money back?" And I'm saying, "No, you've been scammed. You're going to have to swallow it and tell your friends." And don't let it put you off Bitcoin or put you off cryptocurrency. Just learn and move forward. Yeah.
I mean, these are classic scams, just different.
Yeah.
Bitcoin
same
anyway.
scams that are used
Get rich
for
quick schemes.
for a lot of. I mean,
Yes.
these type of scams are also happening with the banks right now. I think everyone's noticed how much notice the banks have been giving out
Oh
recently.
yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah.
this isn't. I mean, these times is what you got to look at. It's not just Bitcoin. It's everybody's desperate to make a dollar right now. So
Right.
everybody being locked on and everybody's online. Scammers know that the capacity of people to actually physically reach them right now is in their favor, right? So because everybody's
Very
kind of
limited.
locked down, yeah. So their opportunity to scam is the highest right now, especially with a lot of people. I've been doing a lot of reading on this, and the psychology of people right now is they're on their last tranches of money, of savings, because of obviously the economy. So everyone's kind of looking for what's the best way where this last bit of money I have, I can turn into 5x, 10x, because I really don't know when I'm going to get employed again or when I'm going to get deployed again overseas as a OFW. So the scammers know this. Scammers know that people are desperate. So yeah, just be aware. Everybody has to be aware that.
Like I said, if it's too good to be true, it is. So, yep.
Right.
Keep your eyes open.
Definitely.
Be aware. As the UK Prime Minister says, be aware.
So yeah, I mean I looked at this. I actually like if I had the spare $250, I was actually thinking it would be an interesting thing to talk about on the show if I actually went through the experience of what actually happens when
Don't waste. You got money to waste.
buy
Don't you?
into it. Well, the thing is, I don't really, and also like I didn't want to give my money to them. That kind of made me feel bad. But there might be something educational in kind of just being able to talk about the experience from firsthand.
What you can do is
information also.
email them and ask them for more details and see how that goes. Like with the Nigerian scammer, you can keep them going back and forth and saying, "Oh, is this deal for real? I'm so excited," and blah blah blah, and see what you can get. Always
Well,
fun.
Suppose I could,
people do make money off of Ponzi schemes, right? Because Ponzi schemes normally have to like build some early track record, right? Like the first few fools, they will get their money back, right? If they ask for your money back, they'll give it to you so that you can then give a good word in to the next marginal fool. And before things fall apart, if you ask for your $250 back, you might actually.
well, now it's just encouraging me.
Yeah.
It's just encouraging
Yeah.
me to try it.
Well,
I hope you're one of the first.
And it's not. You don't have to be. I wouldn't. This happens to smart people as well. If you look at Bernie Madoff, he conned a lot of smart people with exactly the same kind of.
Right.
So you just got to
There's
be
some
aware.
of story here. OneCoin. Some of you may have heard it, and recently, I think what Bitcoin did podcast where the host had an episode or a few episodes about the OneCoin. It was a Ponzi scheme. And the thing I found so interesting is that even after everything seemed like it was gonna collapse, or after everything did collapse, there's still a bunch of people that believe it wasn't a scam.
Wow. That's
What they
crazy.
call it, the hardcore believers.
Yeah.
But they don't have their right, but they think it's not a scam.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to kind of cut this one short because I just realized we were really running out of time now. And if there are questions from the audience, please send them in. Use the Bloom inbox if you want, or just leave it as a comment in the email thread. Also, that's fine. What we want to do is take your questions, compile them, turn them into episodes, and kind of have like a whole library of your questions and our answers, so that we always have this stuff available for people to see. So if you saw the post about this episode, the reason why I'm actually a little bit nervous right now because this is the first episode where we're actually going to try to do a little viewer raffle. I've never done this ever. I got the idea from Archelin, who has muted herself now. I hope she is not like washing her hands of this situation.
Is that open to me as well, or just everyone?
No, it's not open to you, Mark. What? No.
Oh. I never win anyway.
What, you never win anything? Really?
I never win
I
anything.
mean, wow. Really? Okay. All right. So the way that it works is that the people who are eligible for the raffle are the people who are in the live stream right now. So we actually have a little random comment picker app right here. I can actually press this little button. Hold on. This is gonna be weird. Oh my god.
Have you tested this?
Yes, it's peer reviewed by the Bitcoin Core devs. Yes, it's high end stuff. Yep. I mean, it's basically just a random number generator, right? So I'm gonna. I don't actually know how to do this. I guess I just press the number, press the start button, and then we go, right? So here's the rules. If I accidentally pick either one of the Bloom Solutions employees or someone who's directly related with Bloom Solutions, we have to re-roll. Or, well, I don't know. Are you on the Facebook live stream? I don't think you are.
I'm going to get on it now.
No, don't do it. Okay, so we're going to give this a shot.
Press the start.
Actually have a soundboard. Yeah, here we go. There is a soundboard. That's actually what it sounds.
Don't know what that sounds like.
Drum roll.
And there's a...
There you go. Ging Kanyata Yim is one of our winners. Now we have to look for that person. Actually, so here's the part that I wasn't actually sure how to do. So we're gonna have to find her.
To be in the list?
Yeah, find her in the chat. So I'll do that separately.
Or Ging can just send us a message because she should still be watching, right?
Straight away, yeah, if they're
Yes.
online.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Ging, just send us a message on our Facebook at BloomXorg and we'll get back to you on how to send you the prize.
Yeah, but she might never see it if she's not online right now.
We'll look for you. We're pretty good at that. We're pretty good at that, tracking people down.
Finding people.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Yes. Turns out that we're actually quite good at. Okay. One more.
Facebook post.
I promise. By the way, I promise that we'll get better at this next episode. Okay. Here we go. Also, drum roll. Wait. Pick another winner, and then okay.
Is that drum roll? Is it? Okay.
There you go, Ken.
Hey,
James
I know.
Barry. I know this.
Yeah,
guy.
we know Ken.
Here we go.
Or James.
Is it James or?
I thought it was James Berry. I didn't know his first name's Ken.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. So there you go. So we've got 2 winners. Congratulations. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. So I felt a little ridiculous doing that, but I like my drum roll at least. I gotta work on the timing though. What we're gonna try to do for the next couple of episodes is try to figure out if we can kind of bring more people on, grow the viewership, do these little prizes, just get people more excited about the show. I know that like honestly, just the potential of learning something really interesting should be enough. But having a little bit of monetary incentive never really hurt anyone.
So throwing 1 Bitcoin in next episode, that would help, right?
Are you gonna throw in 1 Bitcoin, Mark?
No.
How about one
I might do
one
0.01 of a Bitcoin, that would be more fun. A couple of those. $10 worth of Bitcoin is worth it.
Okay. So we are open to taking sponsorships from any of the people on the chat. We've got a lot of brand names here right now. So if you want to throw in a few prizes, there you go. There you go.
I can do the next one.
And then you got to be on the show for the whole period of Facebook to get it. I don't know, something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. So you've already got a volunteer. So April is gonna do something. Mark, you're gonna have to match that.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be like with real Bitcoin. You have to be sure that it's real
0.001 of a Bitcoin. I think that's $10, isn't it? Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Something like it's close. It's close. Yeah. Yeah. So happy to work. We're happy to work with the other people on this chat if you want to help throw in a little bit to get people excited. Because otherwise, I have to keep asking for permission from Justin every week, and it gets pretty intense. Our conversations about our giveaways. So, all right.
Yeah.
So we're out of time. That was really fun, and the raffle actually worked. I'm actually really grateful and also relieved. Um, let's do our goodbyes now. April Albero of Paxful Philippines, where can people find more of you and your company?
Oh, you can visit us at paxful.com. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace where you can buy and sell Bitcoin easily, and you can make a profit out of it. So visit us, and then we also have a community on Telegram. It's called Paxful Filipino Community. Join us there. We have lots of traders who's sharing strategies and their trading experience in the community. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Miko Ilas, where can people find more of you? And well, Binance is pretty easy to find, but go for it.
Yeah. Well, Binance Filipino community. So just search Binance Filipino on Facebook. It's both a page and a group. And Binance Filipino on Telegram. We have promos. We are on, of course, aside from the main Binance channel, the Binance Filipino community also has AMA, Super ND, give out free crypto as well. And then, of course, Binance.com for all your trading needs from spot to margin to futures and everything in between. 200 plus coins, 600 trading pairs. Yeah, I guess you could make a profit out of it, but it's not a financial advice. We're just there for every crypto need you may have, savings, everything. Yeah. Go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Mark Vernon, where can people follow you online?
I'm thinking most people want to talk to me on Facebook or Telegram. So at Mark Vernon on Telegram, and I think it's fb.com/Mark Vernon on Facebook if you want to connect up. Get a lot of people chatting to me on both those platforms. And what I'm working on right now is a nice little exciting Ethereum PHP stablecoin. We're in the middle of it. It should be finished in about a week, so we can issue PHP on Ethereum on the mainnet. Proper, the first stablecoin, fiat-backed stablecoin here.